Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family, and today I'll be talking about the one that left the British royal family, Meghan Markle, and her pre-eclampsia claim. So, welcome back to my channel, where I try to unravel the tangled web of royal theatrics. So, we have the latest Meghan Markle saga, and today we're going to look into her newest revelation, which is a claim of postpartum preeclampsia. This bombshell dropped on April the 8th, 2025, during her podcast Confessions of a Female Founder, which is a title that suggests she's either launching startups or confessing to something we've suspected for years. So let's dive into this medical melodrama, and I'm including some of the fantastic and humorous posts from X. Absolutely hilarious. It totally lightens the whole subject. I've been on this subject since the moon bump rumours began, back when I was one of the first YouTubers to clock the oddities in Meghan's pregnancy claims. I will also mention my good friend Ashley Danger Zone, who was in the States and was the very first one to start all this stuff. There were a few of us that followed after her, but she was absolutely great. She helped me with my channel, and she might have helped others. She was just such a lovely woman, and I did do a small tribute for her in another video somewhere. But yeah, I missed her, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. Back to this, which she would be loving all of this now, wouldn't she? I know, I can just hear her now talking about all of this. I'm sure she can see what's going on. So, what started as a fringe theory, which we were talking about, and we were labelled totally crazy for talking about it, but it has now gone mainstream, and which is much nicer because we're not looked upon as being quite so crazy now. And now Meghan has handed us yet another whopper. So grab your cup of tea or coffee, and we're getting into it. So in her podcast chat with Bumble's Whitney Wolfe Herd, who coincidentally also battled preeclampsia, Meghan sort of mused about her own brush with this rare condition. Life-threatening, she called it. A harrowing ordeal. Yet she conveniently omitted which child, whether Archie or Lily, sparked this crisis, leaving us to speculate. Postpartum preeclampsia, for the uninitiated, is a serious spike in blood pressure after delivery, potentially leading to seizures or worse. Rare? Yes. Dramatic? Absolutely. And I can vouch for this, not having had preeclampsia during pregnancy, but being the baby born out of a preeclampsia situation. So it is absolutely dramatic. The mother and the child can lose their lives over this. Quite often the baby doesn't survive when it's preeclampsia. So she's claiming something even rarer, which is postpartum preeclampsia. So is it plausible for Meghan? Well, that's where the plot well and truly thickens. Ex-user at Royalty Spiller weighed in with this absolute gem, and I quote, "Meghan Markle's preeclampsia story is as believable as her Netflix cooking show being authentic. Another day, another script," end quote. Absolutely, at Royalty Spiller, you've hit the nail on the head. This feels less like a medical confession and more like a pitch for an Emmy. Why, after 6 years of silence, is she only now mentioning a condition that typically lands you in hospital, not posing for photos in a pristine trench coat? Consider this. Preeclampsia isn't the sort of thing you forget. It's not a stubbed toe or a mild headache. It's a full-on emergency. I know that with preeclampsia, the pregnant mother can have be made to have months of bed rest in a hospital, and her life can be in the balance, and the baby's life can be very much in the balance with many babies lost. Postpartum preeclampsia, from what I read, I don't know a lot about it, but from what I read, it's rarer and it's even more serious. Yet Meghan has delivered this tale with the casual air of someone recounting a grocery run. It's very bold, I'll give her that, but it's almost as bold as expecting us to buy it without a receipt. So, there's been a legacy of pregnancy peculiarities. So let's rewind to Meghan's maternity archives, shall we? Her pregnancy stories have been dodgier than a used car salesman's handshake. Take Archie's birth in 2019. Officially, he arrived May the 6th at Portland Hospital, or so they say. But the timeline was a shambles. Remember it. I remember it well. I remember the videos changing every announcement. I couldn't believe what was happening. Even that Nicholas Witchell, the BBC announcer, was so confused. He basically he had to stop talking because he couldn't lie anymore. It was just ridiculous. Buckingham Palace botched the announcement, hinting that he'd been born earlier, while Meghan and Harry waltzed out hours later, baby in tow, her looking like she'd just had a facial, not a labour. And then came Lily in 2021, a supposed hospital birth in Santa Barbara, followed by a swift return home, faster than you can say epidural. Now we're to believe that preeclampsia was in the mix with one of those alleged births. I don't believe it. Do you? So on X, @TruthInT served up this zinger, and I quote, "Preeclampsia? Meghan was back in heels and a blowout faster than Usain Bolt running the 100 metre. Spare us the sob story," end quote. Precisely. I've been dissecting these inconsistencies since the start. Those moon bump videos where her belly seemed to defy gravity, folding and shifting like a poorly tied scarf. Back then, I was called a conspiracy nut. Now, the mainstream's caught up, and the evidence is stacking higher and higher for Meghan. Her miscarriage tale in 2020, penned for the New York Times, was another perfectly timed tearjerker, aligning with her post-royal rebrand. And don't get me started on the Sussex's secrecy. No photos of labour, no hospital confirmations, just vague press releases and a knack for miraculous recoveries. @Montecito Mirth summed it up, and I quote, "Meghan's pregnancies were faker than her tears at a charity gala. Preeclampsia's just the latest sequel," end quote. Harsh? Maybe, but hilarious, absolutely, and totally true as far as many of us are concerned. So the X-sphere has erupted over this, and the commentary is pure gold. I'm going to read some of these because they are absolutely classic. @Crown and Cynic offered this, quote, "Meghan's preeclampsia reveal is timed so perfectly with Eugenie's recent interview, it's a bit like she's got a royal crisis bingo card," end quote. Timing indeed. Princess Eugenie recently shared her own preeclampsia story, and voila, Meghan's got one too. Coincidence? Or competitive storytelling? You decide. And then there's @Sassy Sussex Watch, and I quote, "Postpartum preeclampsia, yet Meghan was home sipping kombucha in 2 hours. Sure, Jan. Next she'll say she delivered Lilibet herself in a yurt," end quote. The yurt's a bit of a stretch, but the scepticism is totally spot on. Hospitals don't discharge preeclampsia patients like they're handing out drive-through orders, yet Meghan's narrative insists she's Superwoman, or perhaps just a really good liar. But we know that she's not, don't we? And at Regal Roaster couldn't resist. And I quote, "Meghan Markle claiming preeclampsia is like me claiming I invented the internet. Where's the proof, Meg?" End quote. Brilliant quote. Proof is not her forte. She thrives on ambiguity, enough to stir sympathy, not enough to face scrutiny. But X isn't letting it slide, and neither am I. Years of moon bump sleuthing have honed my radar and other YouTubers, for this type of rubbish, and this really pings loudly. And now we move on to the strategic sob story. So why unveil this now? You'll notice if you've looked at a lot of my videos in the past, I'm more about why she does things, more about why things are done than what is done. So Meghan is in a PR pickle. Her Netflix venture with Love Meghan flopped. It was too polished, too detached. Her As Ever lifestyle brand launched to crickets. She needs a reset, a humanising hook to counter the Hollywood elitist tag. So, cue preeclampsia, a rare, relatable and a maternal badge of honour, except that it's tarnished by her track record. This isn't a confession, it's a chess move. But she can't play chess, we know that. The Queen can play chess, Donald Trump can play chess, but Meghan, she cannot play chess. X's at Duchess Debunker nailed it, and I quote, "Every time Meghan's career stalls, she pulls a pregnancy card. Miscarriage in 2020, now preeclampsia in 2025. Clockwork." End quote. Clockwork indeed. Spot on. Each crisis dovetails with a pivot, leaving the royals launching a brand. She always finds something. It's less memoir, more marketing. She's banking on our short memories, but we've been watching since the belly jiggles went viral. I was there calling it out when it was taboo. Now it's open season and Meghan's still doing it. Preeclampsia could have happened. I'm not a doctor, but after years of her dodgy birth tales and swift recoveries and no medical paper trail, I'm really sceptical. This just feels like another layer on top of the Montecito myth, and I'm not buying it. Are you? So, there you have it. Meghan's latest act in the pregnancy pantomime, dissected with a few X quotes and a healthy dose of doubt and skepticism. Is it true? I think anyone that thinks it is needs to look back through Meghan's history. Is it convenient? Oh, absolutely it's convenient. She's a storyteller, not a historian, and we're the audience she hopes won't fact check the script. But we do, and we will. We will continue to. So, stick around for a quick read of my favourite X quotes, and let me have your comments below, whether you're buying it or whether you think like I do, that it's just another big fat lie. So here's the list of X quotes that really got me. At Palace Pundit, quote, "Meghan's preeclampsia tale is so late to the party, it's like she found it in the discount bin of royal sob stories," end quote. At Tea and Tiaras, quote, "Preeclampsia? Meghan bounced back from birth like she was auditioning for a Pilates infomercial. Nice try, Duchess," end quote. At Sussex Skeptic, and I quote, "First moon bumps, now preeclampsia. Meghan's pregnancy CV is longer than her IMDb page," end quote. And at Windsor Wit, I quote, Meghan claiming preeclampsia years later is like me claiming I ran a marathon last Tuesday. Where's the medal, Meg? End quote. Brilliant one. At Royal Ruse Radar, quote, if Meghan had preeclampsia, I'm the Queen of Sheba. She was home faster than you can say staged photo op. End quote. At Crown Crusher, and I quote, Meghan's preeclampsia story is so fake, it makes her jam jars look like artisanal masterpieces. Give it up, you talentless grifter. End quote. They're getting good. They're getting really good. At Duchess Doom, and I quote, preeclampsia, the only thing Meghan delivered was a masterclass in bullshit. That moon bump's still laughing in the closet. End quote. At Regal Reaper, and I quote, Meghan spinning a preeclampsia yarn now is like a corpse claiming it caught a cold. Too late, love. We've already buried the lie. End quote. Classic. So, let me have your comments. I look forward to them. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Click like if you liked it. Ding the bell for more alerts. And I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and just a note. A lot of you are not getting the alerts to my videos. So I don't know. I think a lot of you have not received the alerts for my one that I did yesterday, which was quite a long video about Prince Harry in Africa, his grandfather, Prince Philip's relationship with Africa. I dig very deep in that video. It has a lot of quite dark stuff in it, and I'll put the link in the description or at the end of this video so that you don't miss it. And I'll be doing more like that. I'll be doing more, maybe 30-minute or 30 to 40-minute videos or longer, digging deep into various subjects to do with the royals. So, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.